Hello everyone. In this video, let us study about systems of forces. We will study about coplanar and non-coplanar system of forces, concurrent and non-concurrent system of forces, collinear and parallel system of forces, and combination of all these four systems also we will study in this video. First of all, what is meant by system of forces? When more than one force is acting on a body, then we call those number of forces as system of forces. The number of forces acting on a body at any particular instance of time are said to be a system of forces. Now, first let us see about coplanar and non-coplanar force systems. In coplanar force system, from the name itself we can say coplanar. That means all the forces act on the body in same plane. Here if you see this diagram, here we can understand that here total four forces are acting on this body, but all of them are in single horizontal plane. So this force system comprising all these four forces is called as coplanar force system. Then coming to non-coplanar force system, here in the second diagram if you see, so many forces are acting on this body, but all these forces are not in a single plane. 4 Newton is on the top of the acting on the top of the surface, and this 3 Newton force and 4 Newton force are acting at the middle level of the middle level of this object, and 4 Newton is in vertical plane. This 4 Newton is in another inclined plane. So all the forces are acting in different planes. So this type of force system is called as non-coplanar force system. Now let us see about concurrent and non-concurrent force systems. If the forces acting on a body, if they are meeting at one point, then all the forces, if they meet at one point, then we can call the force system as concurrent force system. So tell me, in this diagram, the forces are concurrent or non-concurrent? How can we judge that? If we extend the lines of action of these two forces, they are meeting here on this force D. So that means whether the forces directly or their lines of action, if they meet at a single point, then we can call this force system comprising all these forces is a concurrent force system. Coming to the next example, non-concurrent force system. Again, in this diagram, some forces are parallel to each other and some forces are meeting at one point. Here, even though these two forces are meeting at this point, but other forces, even if we join them, the all the forces are not going to meet at one point. That is why this force system can be called as non-concurrent force system. Even in this example also, if you see, some forces are parallel and one force is inclined like this, even though they are coplanar forces, but now they are not concurrent forces. Here they are coplanar and concurrent also, because all the forces are acting on top of the surface. Here they are coplanar but not concurrent. Here the forces are non-coplanar and non-concurrent. So if the forces do not intersect at one point, they are called as non-concurrent forces. Here I want to say forces, not only forces, even their lines of actions, they are not intersecting at one point, then the force system will be called as non-concurrent force system. So in non-concurrent force system, in addition to translation, there may be rotation also. But in case of concurrent system, as all the forces are meeting at one point, there are no chances of rotation, only chances are for translation. Next type of force system is collinear force system. From the name we can understand collinear means all the forces act along the same plane. Here you see in the first example here, even though their directions are different, but their lines of action are along a single line. That means these three forces can be called as collinear forces. Here in the second example, these forces are acting in the same direction along the lines of action parallel to each other. So they are not along a single line of action. So these forces are called as parallel force system. So by combining all these things, there may be coplanar collinear force system. So all the forces which are collinear, that means acting along a same line, but and they are also acting in the same plane, then we can call it as collinear coplanar collinear force system. Here I have striked off non-coplanar collinear force system. Why? If they are collinear, their line of action is same, but that means they must be in same plane. So non-coplanar collinear force system is not possible at all. But we can see coplanar parallel force system in all the forces may act in same plane, but they can be parallel to each other. So coplanar parallel force system is possible. Non-coplanar parallel force system is also possible. They will be in different planes. They may be in different planes, but they are parallel and parallel to each other. So they can be called as non-coplanar parallel force system. And even the forces which are acting in a single plane, but all of them they meet at one point, then in that case we can call them as coplanar concurrent force system. And if these concurrent force system, if it is not in a single plane, then we can call it as non-coplanar concurrent force system, that is in space. That means three-dimensional. Then coplanar general force system. General force system is nothing but non-concurrent force system is also called as general force system. And if all that non-concurrent forces are acting in a same plane, then we can call it as coplanar general force system. And they are non-concurrent and they are not acting in a single plane, then we can call that force system as non-coplanar non-concurrent force system or non-coplanar general force system. Again, from these three textbooks, you can refer for any further information. Thanks for viewing. We will meet in our next video, Principles of Statics.